So, since I wasn't able to attend church this morning because the cathedral was absolutely packed, there was no room in there for another congregant. My producer and I decided to come back to her house. This is Julie Mearschwam, and she's a very good friend of mine and also my producer. And we were just discussing the fact that religion has played a huge role in my marriage, and it's the reason that Ahmed and I are choosing not to pursue a future together. And questions always come up with my friends and my family about what the role of religion is and what the issues are between us. And so Julie is just basically going to sit in and ask some of those questions because she has questions of her own, and also will be asking questions that have come up from other people, and I will answer them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what role has religion played in your life?
Well, I grew up Episcopalian, and church was a huge part of my life because quite a few members of my family are ordained. So my grandfather was an Episcopal priest when he was alive at a little church in the mountains of North Carolina. And so I started off life going to church every Sunday. I was an acolyte from the time I was probably around 8 years old until around the time I was 14, and I carried the cross down the aisle. And my father was an ordained deacon, so he was part of the service as well, and my mother was in the choir. So it was really a huge family get-together every week. It was a way to be involved in the church community that was an important part of our life.
So what did your family think of when you announced that you were going to marry a Muslim person?
I think they were surprised. But I don't think it was just that they were surprised that I was marrying a Muslim. I think they were surprised that I was getting married at all, first of all, because I kind of sprung it on them at the last minute. And they really didn't have an issue with it. They trust me to make decisions about my life. And they knew that whoever I chose was going to be a good man regardless of his religious background.
What about his family? I mean, what did his family think of him marrying a non-Muslim woman?
I think they had concerns in the beginning, and they probably talked to him about those concerns, but they have never made me feel like they were concerned about our situation. I think that they have always hoped, and Ahmed has always hoped, that I would, quote unquote, see the light and convert to Islam. So regardless of that, though, they are still super loving to me. They have welcomed me into their lives. They do not hold any judgment against me. I don't feel any judgment from them. And they're also very clear that for Ahmed to have the family that he wants, I am probably not the person for him to have children with.
So tell me a little bit about, I mean, we've talked about what you wanted, like the statement that you wanted to make with this marriage, right? About bridging, and where that statement was in the beginning, and if that still is true for you, despite the fact that you are getting a divorce.
Yeah, and I'll say that at a very early age, I knew that I was the kind of person who was very much attracted to people from different backgrounds, to people who were not from the same, culture, race, to people who had a different paradigm in life. I've always been interested in their stories, and I've never been someone who feels like there's a huge difference in human beings. And so when I got married to Ahmed, I was attracted to him because he was so different than me and came from such a different story than I do. And it's one of the things that I love about him. And I really have a vision for the world where everyone is united and has patience for each other and tolerance for each other, and where we can all delight in the variety of stories that's out there. However, it has been a huge struggle trying to find common ground between me and Ahmed. Building a bridge seems like an easy thing to do in your mind. You know, it's a very idealistic viewpoint. Actually getting the job done to build the bridge is a huge undertaking that requires an incredible amount of courage, which sometimes I haven't had. And a commitment that is hard to stay true to when things get difficult, but that pay off in such incredible ways when you're actually able to get there.
Do you feel like you've gotten there?
I feel like we have a lot of the foundation set. I feel like my relationship with Ahmed has really forged me into a person that is dedicated to seeing reconciliation between the West and the Middle East. I love his culture. I love his family. I love Muslim people. I have such incredible friends in my life who are Muslim, who I am very fond of and very proud of, and who are good people trying to do good things in the world, and I support them, and I want to be a champion for them. You know, I want people from my town in North Carolina who have never been able to meet a Muslim person in their life, who only see footage of them on the news as terrorists, and who, you know, are watching footage of Israel and Palestine and thinking that these are people who go to blow up other people. I want to break open that story because that's not who they are. And to sort of create some understanding for what Islam truly stands for, because Islam means peace. And the majority of people that I know who are Muslim are very much champions for peace. So my spirituality is about asking questions and not taking a simple answer. And also about finding the common thread of spirituality in all of the different stories. You know, what is similar between Christianity and Islam and Buddhism, and what connects us in the end.